I remember when I was doing a tremendous amount of work on myself, and that process is a never-ending process for me. Um, I I've done pretty much every type of self-improvement, personal development that you can possibly imagine. And the interesting thing about that is that most of that is is working on a you that's not even the real you. It's it's working on the you that you have become or that you're trying to become. And that is what is creating more pain and suffering in the world. See, I had this idea come to me that says, be you for you first. And let me explain that. It's when I started becoming aware, and I mean really aware, you can call it enlightened, awake, conscious, whatever you want to call it. I started seeing things about me that I just couldn't believe were me, because I'd been conditioned for so long that I couldn't be that amazing, or I couldn't be that extraordinary, or I couldn't live up to that or do that. It was all conditioning. And I remember when I started seeing glimpses of just brilliance and things that were even uncomfortable for me, because I couldn't imagine myself, me, Brian, ever being that amazing. And it felt like nothing you've ever experienced, or at least nothing I had experienced at that time. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I do now. It was glimpses of me, Brian, falling back into my true nature, which is who I really am. It's what you really are and who you are. But what was interesting over the course of my life, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was that I was putting it off. Partly I know it was. But when I would step into that greatness and feel it and know it, and it wasn't me, Brian, it was me at my true nature, other people had no idea how to react to that. And I may not have even been able to allow people to be able to relate to that. I mean, I'll take part responsibility for that. But what was interesting was anytime I would find myself stepping into that or falling back into my true nature, the people that were around me would be my biggest critics. And they would say, wow, you're so arrogant, or you can't, who do you think you are? And all this negative energy kept coming in. And it was because they, one, didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was happening at the time. And it was so uncomfortable for them. And you know the saying, misery loves company. Oh, that's so true. Especially when people aren't aware. And so what would happen is I would have those moments of brilliance and me falling back into my true nature. But as soon as I would be that, I would allow people's comments or the way they looked at me, treated me, to pull me back or pull me away from who I really was. And it was really because misery does love company. people are so afraid to discover who they really are because they've been conditioned for so long, like I had been, that, oh, you can't do that, or you can't be that amazing, or that extraordinary, or that special, or that powerful. And it's all because people have been conditioned for so long that there's someone or something that they're not. And when people get to a place of knowing and understanding of who and what they really are, it will absolutely blow their mind. And at first your mind's not going to comprehend it. Because it's been fucking conditioned for so long that you're not as special as you are, or oh, you can't be that, and it's one of the biggest lies that people have been told for years and years and years, centuries and centuries. And it's just not true. Religions are responsible for it. Governments are responsible for it. People in general are responsible for it because they're either ignorant or they're arrogant. And they fear that if they share this knowledge and understanding, this knowing with you, that they're going to miss out on something. And the truth is that who and what you are, who and what we are, is so extraordinary that when you allow yourself to discover that, your life will forever be changed. The thing is, you have to be you for you first. Because the ones who are not aware of this are going to do everything they can to convince you that no, that's not the truth. How your own mind is going to do everything it can to convince you of, no, that can't be true. Whatever Brian's telling you, he's crazy. And it's not. And I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to experience it firsthand, because if you just take my word for it, it's just another belief. And that's the last thing I want for you. I want you to experience this knowing, understanding that I've become aware of, and it took me 13 years and most recently a 7-month meditation to finally discover this. And it's the answer that every human being is searching for, and the answer that every human being that has ever lived has searched for. But you have to be willing to discover it, challenge your beliefs, get into a place where you can just be open to this being true, because I promise you, when you know this understanding and this knowing, your life will never be the same ever again. But you have to be you for you first. And I'm not saying the you that you may think you are. It's so much deeper than that. The you that you really are is so deep within you, and it's not outside you, that you have to be willing to take the time, make the effort, and discover it on your own. Because until you do, it's just another belief or another idea that you just adopted, and that's not what I want for you. What I want for you is for you to have all the love, joy, happiness, peace, and abundance that you can possibly imagine. Because who you are at your absolute true nature will allow you to have that and everything that you can possibly imagine. So before you go on that journey, understand that you're doing this for you first, because you have to be you for you first, and put yourself in a place and prepare yourself that other people are going to want to desperately take that away from you, discredit that, and convince you that it's not the truth. But I can assure you, when you experience it firsthand, you'll know that it's the truth. Stay well.